Hello there, and thank you for coming to check out another episode of CUZZO-OP. Before the episode officially begins, we just wanted to attach a little behind-the-scenes piece to the start of the episode so you could get a good understanding of where we both were as we were entering the episode, as well as give some foundation to some of the things that we were talking about, especially towards the beginning. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy.
Episode 63. I mean,
94.
90.
What the fuck?
Nice. I'm losing my mind. It's one of those days, bro. This is going to be good for me. I needed some weird shit. All right, here we go. Yo, welcome to another episode here at CUZZO-OP, episode 94 to be particular. That's so terrible. Particular is not the right word for that. Let me start all over. My bad. I'm telling you, I'm losing my fucking mind. All right, here we go. Yo, what's good? Welcome to episode 94 here at CUZZO-OP. My name is Isaiah, aka IV. I am one of your hosts, and I am joined by my cousin, my brother, and my co-host,
Willie, also known as Arrow.
And we're excited because we told y'all this year we kind of just getting freaky with it. The last 2 years, we've done several sets of different like batches of episodes and types of episodes and shorts and pulses, and this is a kind of living, breathing thing. And it's because it's a product of our relationship, you know? And so we were thinking, okay, what's something we can do? And Arrow came up with this idea of, what if we do something March Madness themed, like a bracket style discussion? And I was like, oh, that would be fire. And he was like, yeah, like here are some topics that we could go through. And he sent me a list of topics. And when he sent me the list of topics, I'm thinking, okay, what we'll do is we'll take a certain topic and then we'll throw a bunch of video game lore in particular, because that's what we're going to focus on today, video games. I put a bunch of pieces of video games in response to these topics. And when I sent it to him, he was like, yo, what the F did you just send me, bro? This is not what I asked you. And I was like, bro, what do you mean? Like, it's a bunch of video game lore, like characters, games, aspects of PlayStation. He was like, nah, we're supposed to pick one topic and have a bunch of things underneath that one topic. And I said, nah, F that, bro. Let's take it up a notch. I think we should just have a variety of different pieces of video game lore, whether they're Assassin's Creed games or video game protagonists or Xbox exclusives or, you name it, underneath this list of topics he gave. And let's throw them all in a bracket, 16 from me, 16 from you. And what we'll do is we'll go round by round having a discussion about each of these topics. And we'll see which conversation is more enticing, which one we want to talk a little bit more about. Whichever topic we feel like we want to progress with, that's the one that wins until we get to the end. And it's just two in the championship conversation. And at the end of the day, we'll go ahead and crown one a winner. Whichever topic ends up being the winner, we'll actually dedicate an entire episode to at some point this year, is what we've decided. So this is some true March Madness over here at CUZZO-OP, because it's legitimately madness. We are figuring this shit out as we go. And on top of that, we haven't even got our topics together yet. So we're going to do that all right here live on the spot. Like, why don't we share some screen? Like, let's get silly with it. You know what I mean?
Right. And right now, the topic of conversation is how many topic answers that Isaiah sent to me, because he's counting 12 and I'm counting 11. And now, how are we starting this way? I have no fucking clue. And he said I'm wrong.
Yo, bro, I just put bullet points, numbered notes under mine. Check your text messages. Go ahead and look at that shit. Because like I said, I sent you 12 of them, Johns, and you said it was 11, but there's 12 on my screen. Look at that.
You sound incredibly stupid, bro. You sound incredible. Do me a favor. Go ahead. Read number 7.
I see it. Oh, no, it's 11. All right. Yeah,
damn.
I look dumb. I look dumb as bricks. Yeah, all right. So basically, I'm missing about five. What is that? Five topics. So I got to come up with some topics.
Right. All right, and after 30 minutes of conversating about different topics that may be fun to discuss, the bracket was officially ready to go, and the conversation was finally ready to begin.
All right, so now that our topics are selected, Willie's got his 16, I've got my 16. We're now going to progress, brackets created, and have our clash, have our tournament begin. It's CUZZO-OP March Madness, baby. You already know what it is. You feel me? What Arrow, your responsibility will be is letting us know what the topic is going to be. And what we'll try to do is keep it super concise. I think it would be best to try to time it. It would be cool if we could time it. I've actually got a timer right here. I'm gonna put a timer and say like 3 minutes for each topic. You know what I mean? 2-3 minutes each. Just go back and forth a little bit, and then whichever one we feel like we want to keep diving into is the one that's gonna win the battle for that round. Does that sound good?
Yeah, sounds good. So, our first bracket. You ready for this, bro?
Hold on, I'm pressing the timer. Yeah, go.
All right, so you're in charge of time. Go. We got Mr. Edward Kenway from Assassin's Creed, starting off the Assassin's Creed character, going up against the Uncharted villain himself, Rafe Adler.
All right, timer started.
Okay.
I mean, immediately, bro, I'm like, Rafe was hands down my favorite Uncharted villain. Easy. Human wise, connection to like, oh, he's got the trust fund kid vibe. And then he also stands for everything that Nathan Drake hates. I love that he is an embodiment of the opposite, the literal antagonist to who our protagonist is. And that's why I think he's goated. You know what I mean? I don't know if you feel the same about Rafe or not.
I think he's my favorite video game villain.
Ever?
I believe so.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Because of his connection to the main character and what he stands for the story. You got to remember, Uncharted 4 is my favorite story game of all time. So
Facts.
I think it makes sense.
But then when you look at Edward Kenway, it's like Edward Kenway, Black Flag is one of those games, bro, where it's like I can go back to that game at any point and say that it is in the top 3 of the Assassin series. This is before they became RPG head asses and decided to try to copy Witcher 3's steez. And I'm in that pocket. We're going to hear that a couple times. Shout out Shadows. But Edward Kenway, bro, pirate vibes, fire. Leading his gang, fire. Being so against, real piratey against even the creed itself and what it stands for, kind of having to have to be beaten and humbled to accept his mantle. It's very King Arthur of him. I love it, bro. I think he's great. He's a great character, bro. Edward's that guy. Edward is that guy.
Yeah, Edward is that guy. It's just a shame he never got a sequel.
I know.
And he grew to be this character that we never got to see video game wise. And I'll be honest, he's not my top Assassin's Creed character, you know? And
sure.
But I think he is one of the best, played brilliantly by Matt Ryan. You know, shout outs to him. So it's really a conversation of the tale of two goats to me, right here, right now.
Facts, it is. And we got 56 seconds left, so it's like we're gonna have to make a decision on light or dark. We've got protagonist and antagonist. And I mean, considering the stakes, Rafe is really that guy. Mm-hmm. And let's talk about combat. Like the boss battle against Rafe is iconic, bro. The sword play. It's funny because they both swording.
Ting, ting, ting. Dialogue.
The voice acting is better on Rafe than Edward. I won't lie. Like, it's just more memorable. It's ingrained. I hear his voice in the back of my head. I think we're gonna end up going with Rafe. All right, man. Okay, so Rafe is winning the topic. Boom. Round one is done.
Bracket 1 is done with Rafe. All right, so bracket number 2.
Let's run it.
The Gears of War franchise versus Grand Theft Auto 6.
Sheesh. All right, GTA 6. We only have a cinematic trailer. We only have a leaked gameplay, some screenshots. We don't know. We don't know when it's actually coming out. It's supposed to run this whole year. I'll be honest with you, bro. I love GTA. Don't get me wrong, but I think the fact that people make GTA out to be like the biggest thing in the entire world, and like the people who claim GTA as their I don't actually hear a lot of people claim GTA as their favorite game. I think that's an interesting concept. You know, is it big? Is it grand? Is it tone setting for the industry? Absolutely. But it's not like I'm not like pressed or anything about it. I'm excited. I'll be there, but I'm not like, are you excited about this? I feel like I haven't heard you talk about GTA 6.
I'm excited, but that's about it. I mean, what is there to say? With Rockstar, you just kind of wait until it's out, you play it, and you feel it, and that's it.
It's true.
My excitement level doesn't build up until they start dropping those videos. Here's what you can do in our game.
Yeah.
GTA 5 still has the best rollout of a video game in terms of building excitement that I've ever seen with their 5-minute, this is what we're doing in GTA 5. Like,
you and your friends will be able to rob banks and be in heists and get clothing and buy. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. But then you already know, bro, this is near and dear to our hearts, the competitor.
Right. Absolutely.
How you feeling? I'll let you launch that one off.
Gears of War feels like that's the start of my gaming history. So many, it's the madness of this episode comparing a franchise to an unreleased game, but randomized seeds, that's what we're here for. And unfortunately, even with GTA 5, I'd rather run back Gears 1, 2, and 3 as a trilogy than play GTA 5 over and over again. Online Gears was super fun.
It is.
Co-op Gears was super fun. GTA 5 Online was super fun. Different genres, different types of games, everything. But what I'm taking with me in the future are the characters and the moments from Gears more than I am with GTA 5. And can GTA 6 do it? Can they be big and all that? Sure. I'm picking Gears, bro.
You're picking Gears. All right. I'm picking Gears as well. And it's really because Gears of War 2 against the AI on River. Like, what are we talking about, bro? Like, the private matches, the headshots, the random people's heads just flying. It's just like, again, it's imprinted upon my mind. GTA 5 has a lot of great memes. Getting the game with my friends was great memes. But GTA 6, it leaves kind of a big question mark. I don't think I can put a W on a question mark just yet, despite the size. So, right at the timer, looks like we're going with Gears.
Gears, baby, Gears. All right. Our third bracket. The DualSense
controller, copy.
The DualSense controller. So that's PS5, right?
PS5, yeah. The one you're playing on.
Versus
not DualShock, you feel me?
Right. DualSense. Versus DC Universe Online.
Crazy. That's a crazy. Timer started. I'll start with the DualSense. Listen, I think the DualSense controller is an excellent controller. And immediately I think of Astro's Playroom. I think about the amount of functionality that can exist in this controller. I actually think that it is not utilized to the fullest degree that it could. I feel like it's gotten marginalized in its features, but as a controller, it brings that extra dimension, and that is unique. The sense that it says on the title of the freaking controller, it cannot be slept on. Comfort wise, do I think it's the most comfortable controller all the time? No, I think PlayStation has always wrestled with having very comfortable controllers. But I've gotten used to it, and I've now got the Pro, like the high level one, and being able to have the little buttons and the knobs and clicks and stuff, and it be seamless is very nice. Having the Portal and having it split up and still feeling that controller, I very much enjoy that. It's that familiarity, it's that standard, that high level from Sony. So I would say I really rock with the DualSense for sure. What about you? Do you like it?
Playing Assassin's Creed Shadows that just came out, I noticed the controller lights up white. But when you hit an assassination, it flashes red. Mine flashed red when I was like, oh, that's cool.
That's tough.
It's minor. People may not even care. I know people that turn off the vibration and the controller triggers itself when they play games. And I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. It's one of the more comfortable controllers I've felt. I think this is more comfortable than the PS4. So the DualSense, it's cool. It is cool when the games utilize it correctly, which not all have. DCU Online. You want to talk about longevity? The quiet longevity too? This game, free to play. I remember playing it back on the PS3. And it's still getting updates nowadays that people are on. Apparently, because no one talks about it.
No.
Everybody be on it. It's lasted longer than other games in the brackets that we have that are free to play.
Facts.
We'll get talking to. So I think there's a level of respect that this game needs for simply just being, what is it, an online MMO, you would call it, kind of?
It was one of the first online MMOs that was
And
recognized.
it's still here. And I think it's a showcase to why the world of DC is so interesting. People want to interact with those characters and live and breathe in that world. And so the conversation, I suppose, comes down to which option are we picking, right?
Honestly, bro, I want to respect what you're saying about dcuo. I played it, made multiple characters return to it time and time again just for nostalgia purposes. But there is also like a wall in terms of like having to pay your way through things, or the fact that things have been like hacked and things. Like
Sure.
I feel like that also adds. The DualSense is what I want to go with, and the reason why is because it's fueling my gaming right now.
Okay.
Me personally. What about you?
I would want to go with DC because of the idea of
Longevity,
as well as how it's being used now. How the controller isn't necessarily being used to the fullest capability. However, my biggest reason for wanting to go with DC is because of the customizable controllers feeling lazy from Sony in terms of how they look, especially that most recent Last of Us one.
That's a good point. All right, I like it. You just sold me on that, because the reality is the functionality might be what it is, but it's not as. But then again, the DualShock didn't really have many interpretations of it either. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So you gotta give them some love for some of it. Like I got the Astrobot controller here, and that shit is sexy.
It's clean, right?
So actually, I'm not sold. We at a stalemate right now on this one, bro. We're gonna have to keep going.
Listen, I will allow the DualShock or DualSense. I will allow the DualSense to take this one home. But it's not a happy choice for me. Not a happy choice.
That's fine. I'll get you.
I just remember DCU also holding it down when the PS4 ain't have games in the early life. You know, I remember that being one of those ones.
That's true. It was. That's fact. It doesn't matter. You still played it through the controller. You're still playing it through the controller. The controller. Right. I think DualSense has Xbox like crap. We make a comfortable controller, but at the same time, they're pushing the dimension into, you know, like off the trigger, feeling the stretch of the Spider-Man's web when you're swinging. Like that's just a subtle dynamic that I think it kind of make or break certain things. It just really immerses you a little bit more. So I don't know. I gotta go with it.
Let's go with it.
I think going forward, if we hit a bracket and we have no resolve, we just keep going until it's handled.
Right.
All right. Until one of us gives.
Well, you know, you brought up the Xbox controller, and we've got our next bracket diving into Dying Light 1 versus the Xbox controller.
Do you want to go first, or you want me to go?
You go.
All right, so Xbox controller is the most comfortable controller I've ever held in my hands. That joint is like the Xbox 360 controller was comfortable, but then when they took it up for the Xbox One and then Series X and S, like, dude, that joint just sits in your hand like butter. It's just controller. Like sometimes I'll just be sitting here like wanting to hold it just to hold it. Like it's just right. Like it sits right. It just knows what it's doing. It's a beautiful controller. Oh my gosh. Like, I don't feel like I could go hard on it because I just want to be nice to it because it's being nice to me. You understand? So that's a big deal for me on Xbox. Outside of that, I do enjoy this right here, the click clack on the directional pad. I really enjoy that. That's that nostalgia. It's that feel of like, man, there's always been D-pads on the oldies, on the old arcade games, on the old systems. So I also very much love that. One thing I don't care for on this controller is the share button. I feel like it's clunky. I know that the PlayStation has a share button as well. But I feel like I utilize the share button on the PlayStation controller and it feels like it works. I feel like the share button gets in the way sometimes on this controller, and that's one of the knocks I'd give it, and one of the negs. But everything else I freaking love about this controller. So that's how I feel. But then there's Dying Light. So you tell me what you got about the controller, and then we could talk Dying Light.
I don't have much to say. It's a controller. I am, feeling it out right now. It is comfortable. The battery pack.
That's a fact. The battery pack.
Heard a lot.
That's a fact.
Analog sticks last longer than PlayStations.
They do. They do.
They go out. Maybe I just play on PlayStation more. All that to say,
You definitely do.
they get customized by Microsoft, because what have we said about Microsoft before? They want to be an entertainment company all around. And so they will give you a million ways to customize your Xbox controller. And it's one of the things that I think Sony has always sucked at.
Sure.
And so I'll give that. I wanted Xbox controllers for things that I don't even have an Xbox, but I want that controller. So it's high. But the battery pack, though, versus Dying Light, first-person parkour game that feels good. Mirror's Edge is spiritual successor. We got something that, hold up, wait a minute, horror game too, a zombie game too, in the midst of zombie games kind of falling out and feeling stale. You came in and you did what?
I don't even think we need to take this further. I think Dying Light 1 is one of them ones, bro. That feel of the nighttime run when they coming after you, you and your friends,
and you're scared.
Like it's just, and the story Crane, like I just think at the end of the day, they never peaked ever again. It's the best. It was the best, and they don't know what to do because they captured lightning in a bottle in the game. And yeah, man, I think Dying Light 1 is one of them ones. I think that's an instant progression to the next round. Me personally.
All right, instant progression. So up next, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart versus Multiversus.
Woo! All right, so let's start with Multiversus. Multiversus, I actually was one of those guys that was running Multiversus when the beta was first out, like initially, and I liked it. I liked Finn. Finn was my main. I also played LeBron James. I like the functionality of it. I like brawlers like that, especially if I start to engage in them. I like being able to like load up a quick match in between work meetings and like run a couple and get stupid with it. I got a couple fire clips if you want to see it. But we all know that Multiversus is controversial. You know, it's like it's not had the cleanest drop. It's been removed and then put back out. And Warner Brothers has really wrestled with this idea after trying to act like it could go blow to blow with Super Smash Bros. And it just can't, and it won't, and it will never. You know,
it's
only thing that can
shut down.
Right. The only thing that could really is that Brawlheezy, baby. Stop playing with Brawlheezy. You should have put that on the list. So I also think this is an automatic progression, because if we're talking about Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, I am a massive Ratchet and Clank fan. As you know, I've played all of them growing up, even the PSP ones. And so like when Rift Apart came out and it was utilizing the strength of the PlayStation 5 with the SSD being pushed by having portals to other maps that you would go, or planets you would go to, and you jump in this portal from one planet to end up in another planet, and it'd be like a mix of both. Fire idea. Story is great writing. I mean, we're talking about Insomniac. You know, they're this is what they do. This is why they can make a Spider-Man. It's because of the Ratchet and Clank series. So everything you feel when you switch in your webs in Spidey, they did that first when you're mid-battle, slow down, switching to another weapon to blow this guy up, and then switching to another weapon to throw a bomb, and then switching before that bomb hits to throw another weapon. Like the combat's fire, the functionality's fire, and the use of the PlayStation's fire. One of my favorite Sony exclusives, Rift Apart. That's how I feel.
I never played Rift Apart.
I know you're bugging.
I have it, but I was working my way through the franchise, so
bugging.
Multiversus is getting shut down. Multiversus shut down for a long time after taking people's money, came back, failed to deliver satisfying characters and all that, blah, blah, blah. They also pissed me off because WB Games sucks so much that they stopped Fortnite collabs. It's not confirmed, but Multiversus announced they were shutting down, and now DC skins are back in the Fortnite item shop. Wow.
Interesting.
You and I were playing Multiversus the night that we dedicated ourselves to making CUZZO-OP come true.
That's true, though.
Without you hitting me up saying, yo, let's hop onto this game and give it a try. And as we were sitting there and playing that, you're like, nah, we need to be serious about this podcast. And I'm like, nah, I'm down. Let's do it. Do we get here to talk?
No, that doesn't matter.
I'm just asking.
I'm
posing the question. Multiversus is forever going to be locked into the lore of CUZZO-OP, whether you like it or not, and whether I like it or not. That's just factual. That is all that to say. I'm willing to give you Rift Apart. I haven't played it. But the ties to the CUZZO-OP lore go crazy with multiverses.
That's cool. And yes, and we still, it would have been that or something else. We still would have gotten here, I think. I do not think multiverses was a part of why this happened. It just was the scene of the scene of the story, the scene of the plot. So that's like you playing a video game that takes place in a forest and being like, well, forests were imperative in the narrative of this story. No, they aren't. Forests are just forests. Multiverses was just another game that fucking failed. It's us. It's the PlayStation. It's the connection. It's the, come on. So put that game to rest. Let that die. Shout outs to Rift Apart. You need to play that. We'll talk more. We'll talk more as it progresses. We'll talk more.
Yes, sir. Our next bracket, the PlayStation Media Remote versus Rocket League.
I can't speak on the Media Remote. I don't have it. But my boy had it.
I have it.
Do you like it?
It was cool. I haven't put batteries in it in a hot minute, but it was cool.
That says a lot.
Because if it's your primary source of entertainment and you don't want to use your controller, it got the PlayStation button to go to the home screen. It has Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, and I think HBO as icons. You can just hit and it'll pop it up. You got the volume button. You could do a lot with it. You can't play games with it, obviously, but if someone didn't have cable or Xbox or some kind of Fire Stick set up in their crib and this was needed, hey, I could hand that off to anybody and say, here you go. And if you know how to use any remote, you know how to use it. So it's cool. And I think it's cool that PlayStation has that for those who, they understand that entertainment is part of their console. It's not their console. Let's be clear. Xbox. Entertainment for the wide, I just want to watch cable television. That's not what they're focused on. They're focused on games, but they know that there's an audience out there that will put that in their living room and use for their family. And I think it's cool.
Yeah, I think one thing that's worth saying about the Media Remote is that is one thing about Sony that's interesting. Their ideology and their focus, target audience is the gamers, but they create these very weird niche products to then build up their system. The Portal is still very niche, in my opinion. So I think the media, because it only targets a specific demographic of people that would want something like a Portal. And I think, like you're saying with the Media Remote, that's the same case. So there's this overarching story about what their focus and philosophy is on products. Sony's got a weird little vibe over there with that. But, pinning that up against Rocket League, every person I've ever met that is a gamer has almost every single person I've spoken to has tried or plays Rocket League. And you'd be surprised. Like, there are people who have that game eternally downloaded on their system because it's a long-standing, legendary aspect of like competitive gaming, even casual gaming, And I think Rocket League automatically progresses, in my opinion, in this tournament because you've seen other games adopt Rocket League as like as a type of mode, like Overwatch. Overwatch had Lucio Ball, which was basically Rocket League. You're just using the abilities of Lucio to make the ball move back and forth. And it's because Rocket League is simple in its idea, but at the end of the day, it's still fire. It's still a fire game, and it's competitive, and it can get heated, and you can get better, and then you can start flexing on your boys. And when you hit that, and your guys are like, yo, you really shot that. Let's get this ball. Your boy assists you, sends you the ball, and then you do a flip in the air and you hit it, or you ran forward. Rocket League. I think Rocket League progresses. I think it's a staple. It's a slept on staple in gaming. Plus, peep the collabs. People are collabing. People are collabing.
Yeah, I'm down to give it a Rocket League. Rocket League, bro. I mean,
word to the no batteries in your remote.
It's a game, bro. And then it's a rage-inducing game. Ooh. But I think that it's fun. I'm fine just letting it continue on here, All right. Up next, we have Super Mario games versus Handsome Jack.
Woo! Dang it. All right. Super Mario games, staple of gaming again, right? Super Mario 64, NES, Super Mario Bros. But really, when I put the Super Mario, I wanted to kind of talk more modern games, especially stuff like Odyssey, stuff like even Galaxy from the Wii. These games are platforming, some of platforming's best as soon as it comes out. You also have Mario Party and all these other things that are associated to Mario. We don't really talk a lot about Nintendo here at CUZZO-OP. So I wanted to throw them in here for that purpose. I love those games. I play every single Mario game that comes out. So the last one, Wonder, was my game last winter. That's all I played all December. I did everything I could, got all the special worlds. Like, it's just one of those games that I just love. Odyssey was great. Love Odyssey. So I think like it's not going anywhere. It will always be here. And I think generationally it's cool that kids will play that game and it connects them. Like my dad and I used to geek out playing, and this was what he played when he was a kid. So that longstanding stance is pretty, you got to honor it. But what about you? You have any relationship with Mario much?
I love the Mario games, Super Mario's, Mario parties. But I mean, Nintendo, especially in recent years with their Switch, it's the at-home console, not the online console, and especially with the way they're running their services, and you have to wonder, like, are you really charging this amount for your games? There's been a disconnect from me to them.
I respect that.
And comparing our lives, you had more people to play Mario with than I did. I remember playing the Mario games off my Wii with my mother, or being on the DS doing it at school and whatever. But in terms of being woven in, I feel like you have that more. And so when we look at the competitor, Handsome Jack, I know my winner. Off of 2 missions from Borderlands 2 alone, I know my winner for this bracket.
Yeah, me too. I mean, when you say that Rafe is your favorite, Handsome Jack is the best antagonist ever in my mind. In terms of like, he's likable as a villain, and that's his best attribute. He makes you laugh. He gets close and he stabs you in your neck. And I think like that idea is really well done. The voice acting is always well done. I wish that Handsome Jack could have been the villain for Borderlands 3 and Borderlands 4. I wish he could just keep coming back. And fighting Handsome Jack at the end of Borderlands 2 is one of those memorable fights in a game where kind of fights come and go. You focus more on the loot and the guns. I think like without Handsome Jack, Borderlands wouldn't really be as big as it is. So I put Handsome Jack on the map with that, bro. I really do. And shout outs to pre-sequel. If you haven't played it, you need to play the Borderlands the pre-sequel.
And Tails.
Oh, it Tails.
Bracket 8. Destiny 1 versus Until Dawn.
All right. Destiny 1. I played the beta for Destiny. I found the clips for it the other day. And that's part of why I put it on this list. Like when they said Bungie's making a new game now that they go with Sony and they're not on Microsoft's team anymore, and Destiny came out and I played it, and the whole idea of like, it's an MMO, but it's also like not. And this whole like new introduction of that feeling on the new generation of PlayStation 4. I liked that. I liked that experience. It had a magic to it. It had something magical and mystical and cosmic about it. Traveling, exploring planets, doing raids. It kind of captures some of that Halo magic because Bungie just does that. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, it's like I didn't connect with and then the multiplayer. Also, the multiplayer was great back when it first started. But I am not one of those people who stuck around long enough to make this a lifestyle game. So I can't speak to how like people love it. But I was talking to somebody the other day and they're like, yo, I get on that with my boys to this day. Like we still run it. And then Destiny 2, it kind of just, it's sprinkled out. But Destiny 1 is one of those games that like we would just keep playing. They keep adding content. We keep going. We keep catching up. We keep revving it up. We keep playing. We keep going. And I'm like, I never got to engage in Destiny like that. Did you play Destiny like that? Or like, what was your relationship?
I tried and I couldn't do it. Didn't care for it. And I kind of just left it behind.
Fair.
I didn't ever really bother to do more with it. It just wasn't for me.
So it looks like this one's another round where the randomization automatically knocked the game out, because Until Dawn is one of those games where people who don't even play games talk about this game. You know what I mean? It's being made into a film. Like Rami Malek's in it. Like, what are we talking about? Like Until Dawn's great. It just reminds me of the reactor and the YouTube culture and how many people I watch play this game. It reminds me of
Berlin Edmond, his greatest playthrough of all time
ever. iconic. So, and Until Dawn definitely wins this one, in my opinion.
Yes, sir. So now we're hopping over to the other side of the bracket where we are going now, what's happening on the other end. There's a few more. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Bracket number 9. Geralt of Rivia versus Assassin's Creed Unity.
All right, immediately my brain says Geralt, and I'll tell you why. Witcher 3, favorite video game of all time to this day. I saw Steven playing the other day, my boy Locke, shout out Locke. He was sharing his screen, asking me to help him because he's playing through Witcher 3 like fully for the first time ever. Like he played a lot of it, but never got all the way to the end. So he started all over. Yo, his voice, the idea of like having a character who verbalizes what he's thinking in his head and talks throughout. Oh, looks like there's scar. You see the scratches on these trees. Must not have been too long ago that they walked through this forest. Like lines like that. You're just like, you and him become synonymous. Like your thoughts and his thoughts, you start thinking these things as you notice things. And I love that about him because it's like that Twilight factor. They say Bella from Twilight, they wrote her super bland and super boring so that it made room for the women that would read the book and then imagine themselves in her feet. That's like one of the writing techniques. And I think like they do a good job of helping you to really love this guy. Do I love Henry Cavill's interpretation of him? No. So I'm keeping it gaming wise. We're not going to talk TV. I just think that this guy is a legend. I think he's got 3 solid ass games. He is one of my favorite protagonists ever. And he's just a badass. He's hated by everybody and he just rises through the occasion. And that's why I think he deserves this W, me personally. But what about you? What do you do? I know you don't even like Witcher like that. So
I played 10 hours of Witcher 3. I think I'm deciding I'm going to just finish it, push through it, see what happens. You might rather me not play it at all than push through and push through and push through. Who knows? I'm not keeping it to just the game. I will go Henry Cavill, season 1 Netflix, because that's all I've seen, where I actually kind of enjoyed his performance, especially as hearing him talk behind the scenes about how much that character means to him and those books, and to even go as far to see is that he stepped away because he's like, y'all ain't doing it right anymore. That's cool. But AC Unity, what I feel like is the best gameplay of the franchise, straight up, both in combat and parkour.
Yes.
First Assassin's Creed on the PS4 generation of consoles. How beautiful France was to the point where they were able to use the game and the model and used when the fire happened in real life to go and use that and kind of rebuild what happened. There was a lot of level of care in AC Unity. March Madness, baby. We're comparing a video game character of however many games he's in to just one game of a franchise that some people are tired of. It's tough.
It is.
It's tough.
It is. I think Unity and how beautiful it's held up and the flow of the parkour and the fact that it's ruined my appreciation for Assassin's Creed games because of how good it is. That is definitely a pro that I can understand in it progressing in our tournament today. But I'm still going to say Geralt is also just that guy. He's just that guy pulling up with his 2 swords and he sing. Try coming at me. Try coming at me. And the way he rocking with Ciri, and now Ciri pulling up in the next game as the main protagonist, and they saying we're gonna jump back and forth. Like his story's not done. We still got more of him coming. He got all the ladies trying to throw the box. It's really, he's a dog. And then you look at Unity, and as much as the gameplay is great and is astonishing from a gameplay standpoint, I didn't think the story was that great. I thought the story was quite lackluster compared to some of the other stories that had come before it and some of the stories that has come after, to be honest.
It's actually one of my more favorite ones.
I feel like, you know what it is? I feel like I didn't have as much of a connection to Arno. That's what it is. Like my connection was, again, I'm comparing, you just had Ezio, you just had, even Connor in the Kenway lineup. Like, there's a lot of other protagonists in that story. So I still give it to Geralt. He's made an impression on me, but it's because of what I come from versus what you come from. So I can understand we at odds here. We at odds. Right. Somebody's gonna have to die though. Who's gonna die? That's the question.
Who's gonna die? Listen, if you ask me, bro, it's a CUZZO-OP bracket. We can only take it as far as we can both take it.
All right. Because you haven't played and because you haven't indulged. This is us in this position.
10 hours is a long time.
That's not enough time. That's not enough time. It's not enough time. When you find yourself deep in the weeds and you're at the point where it's like you're so synonymous with, okay, I'm about to fight this griffin and I know this oil goes on this blade when I fight this griffin without looking at my bestiary. Like when you're at that point, we can have this conversation again. Sure. And I think you'll go, okay, I understand some more about why you like it. But I'll give it to Unity just off the fact that we all looked like bright red, bright blue, bright yellow, and bright pink, and we were slicing dudes' necks up. I'll give it to you. I'll let you have it.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
Bring back parkour downward, please, because Shadows does not do it well. Everyone that's saying that they do, they don't. All right. Anyways.
Bracket 10, Nathan Drake versus the Switch 2.
Nathan Drake wins. Easy. I don't even have to talk about this.
Sounds good. Bracket 11, video game adaptations versus Skate 3.
For me, bro, I can't say too much. All I'm saying is I'm currently playing a Skate game. A code was floated to me. I run it daily. I've been waiting for it. Why? Because Skate 3 left an impression upon my childhood. Like, my best friend and I would come home on Friday nights, have a lot that we dealt with during the week at school, hop into a skate session, freaking on the mega park, flipping around, kick flipping, and just talking life. You know what I mean? I went to college, put all my friends in college onto this game that didn't play it. We used to just sit brewskis and just skate session even then. When I bought my Xbox, part of the reason why I bought it was so I could still play Skate 3. So it's like, this game is one of my favorite video games of all time. It has been highly revered in terms of skateboard games. You know, like, it captured something different than Tony Hawk, which I think is insane. The fact that it could rise to a height that somewhat surpasses Tony Hawk in terms of collaborating with friends and playing cooperatively. And if it's co-op are we talking about, because it's CUZZO-OP, then I think Skate 3 should win this. Video game adaptation wise, there's great video game adaptations, but there are also a lot of poopies ones. And I think the poopies ones weigh down this general topic, my opinion. But what about you?
I could hear you out, bro. I feel like people are starting to kind of understand how to do things. I think The Last of Us and Fallout have really shaken it up, as well as even maybe Sonic for some people. But I'm hearing you on the Skate. You know, my connection to Skate was never as big as it was for you. Video game adaptations, I'm always like on the fence because for every Last of Us, there's an Assassin's Creed.
For every Fallout, there's a Borderlands. Poopies. Trash.
Correct.
And so I think at the end of the day, the adaptations are hit and miss. If they were all consistent and they all were done well, maybe this would be a different discussion, but Skate 3 always delivers.
Yeah. So, Skate 3.
Yeah.
Sly Cooper 2.
No, 3.
3. Oh, Sly Cooper 3. Versus Factions, The Last of Us.
Yeah, this is just unfortunate for Sly Cooper 3, just the way that it's been set up. Shout out to the random generation. Let me just pay my respects to Sly Cooper 3 while I can, bro. I've been playing it because they HD remastered it and made it accessible now on the PS5. And man, I love that game. It reminds me of the PS2. It reminds me of my sister Isa and I playing, and she would play as Carletta, whatever her name is, the cop that's a fox. And I'd play a Sly, and we'd be like chasing each other around Venice. Like that game is just, the story's funny. Now that I'm older, when I'm playing it back, I realize there were a lot of jokes that were made toward the adult audience that I couldn't catch, like most games. And it makes me smile. It makes me cheese. It's got that heist vibe where it's like you're collecting members to execute a heist, but they decided story wise they would start the game with the heist without letting you know those characters, and then you go and you find them all and then come back to the heist at the end of the game. And I think it's like so cool how they tied it all together. They built on the first and second game really well. It's really almost an immaculate trilogy, to be honest with you, 1, 2, and 3 from that era. So I love Sly. Do you even play any Sly Coopers growing up or what?
Of course. I played. I've been wanting to go and play them now. And they're a part of history for a company that pisses me off. So
yeah, it's facts. But factions, dude, one of a kind. Like it's very hard to make a game these days that is one of a kind. Like in the last decade, this is one type of multiplayer type that like it just stood out and it got better. It like aged like wine. You know what I mean? Like we kept going back to it. After a couple of months, we'd stop and then we come back to it and it'd be better. And then we come back to it and it'd be better. And I just think like I miss it. I actually miss this. So even just off the nostalgia of how good it was, I'm willing to let factions win over Sly Cooper 3 because I have memories with my friends that are just too good. They're
right.
Too good.
If I'm talking about multiplayer games, this is one of my favorites.
Where
I think this is the best. Take me down if I'm wrong. Single player game that just decided, let's put a multiplayer in there. This is the best.
Yeah.
They didn't bring this into the future with them. They left this behind. They wanted to bring it. They canceled it. Blah, blah, blah. Battle Royales. If this had a Battle Royale, it might be the best of all time too.
Yeah.
Feeling.
Which is part of why I'm okay with it dying. Because it lets the memory of this not be like poisoned by something half-assed. And I think that's probably some of what they thought about too, as they continue to progress toward what they do well.
Last of Us 2 needed the factions.
It did. I wish it had it.
But if this is it, one of the GOATs.
Yeah. Yeah. It wins. Let's do it.
Bracket 13, The Sims franchise versus Uncharted multiplayer.
You talk your Sim shit. Go ahead. Get your Sims off.
No, I'm going to get both of them off, bro. The Sims is iconic. The Sims, that idea of going in, creating the world, creating the house, spending hours building your house, all the extra stuff, werewolves, vampires, seasons, just creating this world that has lasted for, 25 years at this point in time, maybe even longer. It's craziness. And it's awesome, and it's something that everybody can play. You know, when we talk about games, something that we haven't really touched on a lot is the fact that the gaming community, well, something we have touched on is that they're very toxic, but women play games too. And this tends to be a game that people, women play that, but men play this too. They don't want to admit they do it, but then you got YouTubers like Burleezy, physical gamers, and other people coming out playing this and it being one of their more highly relegated, like, this is your shit. You're killing this. Why? Because it's a world of creativity. Your own imagination is the limit when it comes to Sims, unless you got to buy the $25 pack for the new Sims 4 game. But my point being is, you could spend 3,000 hours on The Sims and always get into something new.
Yeah.
You could play it on your couch, off your laptop while watching a movie. Play it in the car while you're headed on a family road trip.
Yeah.
People aren't tired of it. They might be tired of how it's being run in certain areas, but there is always going to be a place in gaming for The Sims. In my opinion, now it is one of the best, one of the Legacy's Hall of Fame franchises.
Sure.
Boom.
Yeah, it's the top of the tier for the simulation games. Easy. You know what I mean? Like, even when it comes to strategy games like, Civ or Age of Mythology, like these games that require you to kind of like simulate and not actually engage in the game. Instead, you have to strategize and stuff. Simulation games are actually a broader genre than people actually respect. And the fact that Sims could rise within that genre and it make it prominent and it make it understood and it make it known, like, shout out Sims 2. I can't remember what it was. It might have been Pets, But on the PlayStation 2, you could play that joint cooperatively, and two people can play as a character at the same time, making decisions on things and taking care of characters. And I'll take him to work. Or that was a fun time, you know. Like Sims is a big staple for us as a family as well. For the Vega bloodline, everybody plays this joint. So I got respect for Sims, but Uncharted multiplayer, dog. We're talking about the one of the greatest, if not the greatest, PlayStation exclusive, and the multiplayer that is attached to it. I'm talking Uncharted 2 multiplayer for a second. Uncharted 2 multiplayer is some of the best multiplayer that ever hit PlayStation ever. Like Uncharted 3 multiplayer, my boy Steve and I, we went to AMC in Manhattan and went to play in a 2-player 2v2v2v2 competition tournament, just like this madness we doing. And we were able to rise through the first round and make it into the second, but Steve is ass, so I had to hold him down and we lost. But yo, bro, I have memories with Uncharted 3's multiplayer. The subways, when you get the Subway sandwich with the beta code and you get Uncharted 4 didn't hit as much for me, but Uncharted 2 and 3, that's how I feel. So it's hard. It's a hard one.
I remember the Uncharted multiplayers, especially 4, of course, and more arcadey.
Yes.
Compared to something like Factions from the same company, and
yes.
I could appreciate it. But I would be lying if I said I was tapping into any of those the way I was something like Factions.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And in this case, I really do think it comes blow to blow longevity.
Mm.
And what I can do with it. The Sims is high.
It's not as high for me, but I respect you. And I respect what you talk about. And I respect that my mom plays this. My wife tried it for a time. Right. My sister played this. I'm pretty sure Jada just loaded it up last week. My little sister.
My little sister's on this all the time.
So we're going to give it
PS4, bro.
Generationally, we're going to give it. You know, it's too... actually, Uncharted somewhat becomes marginalized while Sims is broader. So I'll give it to Sims.
Right. Okay.
We'll give it to Sims.
Bracket 14, co-op games versus Bayek of Siwa. I know how this is going to end, and I'm okay with it going this way. Truthfully, because I'm picking co-op games as well.
Okay.
Because gaming, CUZZO-OP, everything is not what it is without co-op games.
So then give Bayek his flowers then.
I'll give him his flowers another time, truly. I don't even want to waste time.
Fair.
But here's what I'll say. Depending on the day, if I'm not trying to be basic like everybody else, Bayek's my number 1. Ezio's Hall of Fame Raptor retired. Ezio shouldn't even be in the conversation anymore.
What about Connor? I'm just kidding. Yeah, he's a Jordan of that joint, bro. He's Jordan in there.
Sure.
And there's no LeBron. There's no LeBron over there. No LeBron James. It's just Jordan. Ezio is the one.
But
I'll tell you
you could argue that Ubisoft is stopping any character they make nowadays from reaching that off the simple fact that they don't give anybody a sequel.
Yep.
So, co-op games, we could hold off on this conversation until it's next time in the bracket.
Bet. Okay. Let's keep it rolling. We are officially in round 2.
No, we're not. We have two more. It didn't. So, bracket 15 is Infamous versus the PlayStation application known as Sharefactory.
Infamous wins.
But I wanted to take the time to talk about Sharefactory because as a 14-year-old, me, getting on PS for the first time, I did school projects off of Sharefactory as my editing because I needed to edit videos together for school and I didn't have a computer. You know?
Yeah.
But I had a flash drive that I could download videos onto at school and then take it home and plug it into my PlayStation and make a movie trailer for a school project off of Sharefactory. And I think it's very cool that PlayStation, because the Xbox, from my understanding, at least at Xbox One, didn't have something like this, where I can sit there and I can edit gaming clips together and post walkthroughs of video games edited, put sounds, put my own signature and image in the bottom left corner, and upload it off of my console straight to YouTube. And I think that is very cool. I think the PS5 version is actually worse compared to the PS4's version. But I think the fact that existed was a very cool thing to give to gamers, especially young gamers, in a time where YouTube and content creation was becoming a real big deal. And so I think Sharefactory will forever have my respect as something easy to use.
Yeah.
And digestible. Infamous wins. And that's a conversation we'll need to have eventually, but I wanted to give Sharefactory its flowers. It's unfortunate it got placed here in the lineup.
It reminds me of how PlayStation's always had stuff like that. Remember that PlayStation thing where you could create like a character and walk around and talk to people? And
was that home? PlayStation
Home? Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. They have these like really niche ideas where it's like not going to serve everybody, but the fact that it exists is cool. I like that.
Right. And so we move to the final bracket in round 1, the Nintendo DS versus PlayStation trophies.
All right, so for the DS, that's one of them ones. I mean, it's just, we used to carry it on the bus. We used to be able to like share games cooperatively. I got a game and I can send you a demo that allows us to play multiplayer games on it. Like, there's certain aspects of just cooperatively it being a great system. I don't have a lot of single player memories outside of like WarioWare and the Mario games and stuff like that. It wasn't like these, stupefying games were dropping, but it's more about the innovation in gaming that DS served. The 2-screen concept, the stylus, like all that was like super cool. The fact that it could play the Game Boy Advance games, the backwards compatibility in a physical sense, like that's tough. Like that's just somebody I saw put a reel up, one of my boys I went to high school with. And he was like, this is my original Nintendo DS. And he's like, I'm like, dang, you just took me back. Like, that's crazy that you still have it. That's so cool. But then, trophies. Honestly, I'm willing to give this to the DS. You want to know why? If it was DS versus achievements, well, ding, it'd be different. But I am not as emotionally attached to trophies as I was to achievements on Xbox 360. It just doesn't make me, like, oh my gosh, trophies. But you, my brother, are a completionist and a trophy hunter. So speak to that.
They give me drive. I believe if I'm spending $70 on a game, I'm not just going to stop once the credits of the story roll and I still have 40 hours of game to play.
It's fair.
I understand not everybody has the commitment or the want to go and find every collectible, but I do. And it's nice to get something at the end of that just says, hey, you did it. And everybody knows that you did it. And that platinum trophy, yeah, you did everything. You got your money's worth. That's what a platinum trophy means to me. In an age where games are about to start costing $100 supposedly, which is fucking disgusting.
I hope to God that's not true. Or that
I got a
delays
good backlog and a lot of trophies to get in those. And to have a symbol of something that tells me that I got my money's worth is awesome.
Yeah.
Gamer score was cool on the achievements. I like the gamer score as well. But something about the trophies, it just hit. It hits.
That's fair. I think I just am not as attached to it as you, but I can understand its importance. And to be honest with you, when it comes to PlayStation Stars and the attachment of a completion of a game or the purchasing of a game and the fact that I get to actually get monetary attachment, I would actually tie Stars deeply into all of the kind of user realm and UI of PlayStation, including trophies. I spend that Stars money. Like I spend, I will shave $20 off of a game when I purchase it because I just bought more games. And so again, man, PlayStation really them guys. I don't know what else we could say to you. You know what I mean? We're not talking about Xbox for a reason. They decided a long time ago they wasn't about this life.
Right.
So, yeah, whatever you want, whatever you decide, I'm with you on. But the DS is fine. You didn't play DS? You didn't have a DS?
I did. But you said everything that you needed to say about it. I miss Drawn for Life, bro. I miss that. Drawn to Life.
Drawn to Life was fire.
That's what I miss. So I'm going Nintendo DS as well because it's just as a culture.
Okay, bet. We need some Nintendo in there.
We in round 2, baby. We got 8 brackets.
Let's get it. I'm here. I'm with
round 1. Rafe Adler versus Gears of War.
Oh my gosh. What would you do? We in a tricky set. What would you do? All right, Rafe is Rafe, right? We already said
right.
He's your favorite antagonist. He is perfectly written. in
Perfectly
contrast
acted.
to one of the greatest video game characters of all time. Perfectly acted, perfectly executed.
Yes.
But it's now one antagonist versus a stack of games that when it comes to us at CUZZO-OP, Gears of War is just going to rise cream of the crop. Like, it's kind of like cheating putting it on the list to begin with. For those that don't know, Arrow and I have a long-standing relationship with these Gears games, not just because it was the first game we really got it shaken game-wise with, but we make the effort every time a Gears entry comes out to find each other. He'll come to me. I've even gone to him. And we try to sit in the first night it comes out and play through the entirety of the campaign, you know? And so I have no intention to shift that with the next coming out. And I think because of that emotional tie to it, I would actually give this to Gears over Rafe. But you can try to prove me wrong if you need to.
Sure. I mean, I'm not going to. I mean,
okay, bet.
I just think when you look at Rafe compared to the other villains in the franchise that he comes from, he is not the template the way others were. And his monologue at the end of Uncharted 4 is the reason why he's my favorite. Because why are we in this position? Why are we here? How did we get here? Got it. Gears of War, ups and downs, I enjoy. And it's the madness. So I'm going Gears as well. But we're talking about Gears eventually anyway.
Facts. That's true. So do you want to knock it out for Rafe? I don't think so. I'm not as attached to it.
We're not there yet. We got a few more rounds.
Later.
We got a few more rounds.
Yeah, maybe later.
So, Gears. Round 2 of our bracket 2 of round 2. The DualSense PS5 controller versus Dying Light 1.
All right, so Dying Light 1 took out the Xbox controller, but DualSense took out dcuo. And I feel emotionally different about this. I'll be honest with you. I think the DualSense rises above Dying Light for me. The reason why I say this is, again, bro, it's fueling all of my gaming right now. You know, like it's attached to all of the gaming that I have as a about to be 30-year-old. And as much as Dying Light 1 is one of the, like, in terms of taking the parkour, and it's the best thing from Techland and all that stuff, like, I got more memories attached to the DualSense from a sentimentality at this point in time than Dying Light. And it doesn't have a battery issue because I have a nonstop charger that I just throw it on and I never have to worry about my battery dying. And I think off the strength of Dying Light 2 being ass.
I'm glad that you're putting that on record because you told me a few times you don't feel that way. So we're out.
I like it for the co-op. I like it for the co-op though.
I'm going Dying Light 1, taking everything into consideration. The DualSense PS5 controller feels good. The vibrations is cool. The lights is cool. No battery pack is cool. But this is where the customization of the controller, something that costs $80 and you're releasing some laziness like The Last of Us. You got monumental games in your catalog that you could be designing controllers after, with Xbox showcasing to you how possible it is to do it with something like its Gears of War controllers, especially, and you're lazy with it. Your analog sticks start to make gaming feel like the worst thing you could be doing with your day when those stick drifts start to come in. I can't take that over the zombie game that came out in the wave of, yo, we're tired of these. Oh, maybe we're not. Maybe we just need something good.
Yeah, that's a big point, bro.
Cooperative, running 4-man through the town, drop kicking zombies, activating the traps. They had a multiplayer mode that people forget about where one of you could become the zombie. The music and main menu title sequence alone is so memorable in gaming. Atmosphere-wise, it's one of the best to ever do it.
You're talking about it, bro. You can let it have it. It's a controller versus
plus
a
the
game
DLCs.
That's astonishing. DLCs are fire.
Changing the game, adding the car into the game. The Bozak Horde mode where you have the 20-round arena fights. Where did Dying Light come from?
I don't know, but it was well welcomed.
Everything you wanted Dead Island to be, Dying Light felt like it was.
Yeah. All right. You got it.
So I'll give it that.
You got it.
Okay.
You got it.
Okay. Sounds good.
He got it.
Bracket 3 of round 2 is Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart versus Rocket League.
This is also a bias thing for me, sentimentality wise. I just think Rift Apart is a really special story from a very special franchise. Insomniac is in the top 5 of the developers right now that are looked to as mecca and as leaders in terms of the games that they release. And again, like, this is one of their sleeper hits. It's like when a director drops a movie like Mickey 17 after doing something like a Parasite, you know, like, remember, like, Spider-Man came out and then they went and made Rift Apart after Spider-Man came out. So it's like they dropped this thing that was astonishing and was like, everybody's talking about this game. Everyone's, oh, wow, they also made these old games. Like, people are being put onto Insomniac's gameography. And like, at the end of the day, like, then they said, yeah, but this one's for us though. That was all for y'all because y'all needed it and they paid us and Marvel gave us the big bucks. And Sony wanted to come partner with us even more of that because we helped them get the big bucks. Hey, now that you gave us the big bucks, can you let us keep making our game? And then they made their game. And it's really beautiful. The premise of the game is that in a different dimension, there is a Ratchet and Clank that is a girl and a different robot. And the relationship that the girl and the different robot have is tied together through trauma and pain. And then when Ratchet and Clank meet these people, they have to work together to take the bad guy down who's trying to use a weapon that kind of causes him to be a leader over all dimensions. And they do a lot of hat tipping to different multidimensional concepts. But again, the technology that they're using from the PlayStation to make this seamless and immersive as a part of the story is just innovative. And it's very passion project-y. It feels very passionate. It's also just a beautiful game. Screenshots, like graphics. It's an animated but yet beautiful game. So I really love it. I love the game so much. Rocket League is a staple. Don't get me wrong. Lots of great memes, lots of good times with the boys. But I think that against the remote, it could win. Against Ratchet and Clank, it cannot win, in my opinion. That's my argument.
I haven't played Ratchet and Clank, and this is where it becomes a problem because I can't argue for it. I can't argue for it, but I don't want to argue for Rocket League either.
Okay, so then boom, let's let it have it.
So here's what I'll say about Rocket League. No. I have more fun playing one of its extra modes.
The basketball one?
The Rumble. It's called, it gives you a random power every 10 seconds. And the competitive scene is just too OD. It is. I'll give it to Ratchet and Clank.
It is crazy over there.
Bracket 4, Handsome Jack versus Until Dawn.
I think Jack takes it. I'm not connected to Until Dawn myself because right. I am not one of those guys that plays that game or that developers games. Sure. I just got to see the enjoyment from everyone else, the gaming community. Right. But Handsome Jack is my favorite antagonist, much like your situation with Rafe. So I'm down to hear what you have to say, but that's definitely who I decide on.
Until Dawn, a trailer dropped like a week. They were like, here's Until Dawn. And then I played it and I was like, oh, this is OD. This is OD. This is like horror, decision based, and everything is glorious. But when it comes to Handsome Jack,
he's my guy.
He's goated. He is goated. Funny line deliveries, funny missions. Again, I'm always going to recall can you go check on my grandmother? And when you pull up to the grandma's house, there's bandits there. And he's like, oh no. And then you kill all the bandits and you go inside and she's dead. And he hits you with oh, thank God. I thought you got there before the bandits had a chance to kill her. Okay. Thank God. Like, you didn't get there in time. I love that for me. Fuck you. Or another mission right after that is actually, He tells you, all right, do me a favor, go jump off the cliff and kill yourself. I'll pay you a large sum of money if you do it. And if you go and do it, he's like, all right, I'll send you your money, but I want you to remember you're a bitch and a sellout, and you're always gonna be, and you did that for me. Just remember that. I did it. 12 iridium was gold. It was nice. That payout was dope.
Very worth it. Very worth it.
It hurts to say Until Dawn is gonna lose this one. Star-studded cast, Hayden Panettiere, Brett Dalton. You know, these are people that I have come to appreciate as actors over time. And of course, Rami Malek, as you said. They've never made a game like Until Dawn. They've been trying, but they haven't made it. They haven't done it. And this movie, no look good. It don't look good. But Handsome Jack is goated, and I'll let you have this one. Sure.
I got more to say about Handsome Jack, so I'll save it for the next round.
Sounds good to me, because it's gonna be you versus you in the next round, really.
Say that.
Bracket 5, Assassin's Creed Unity versus Nathan Drake. Is this me around? Is this a me round?
Nah, I think Nathan Drake wins easy. I think
AC Unity.
If Geralt didn't win, Drake better win against AC Unity.
AC Unity, like we said, it had the most fun gameplay elements. Nathan Drake, through Uncharted 1 to 3, he changes, but then the last was dropped, and they realized Uncharted 4 couldn't be like 1 through 3, and Uncharted 4, Nathan Drake, he's one of them ones. He's my fave from Uncharted 1 through 3. I'm gonna say it out loud right here. Not my favorite. He was goated. He was definitely a 2000s protagonist, but he elevated himself in Uncharted 4.
And I think that has to be considered, because you don't get 4 without 1 through 3. You know,
absolutely.
You don't get 4 without 1 through 3. And I like him in 2. I actually liked him in 2. 3, I don't really give a crap, to be honest. But I liked him in 2, and I think it's like the females, the love interests that also kind of help him to kind of flesh his character out.
Everybody.
You know, Elena is a massive aspect of why Drake is a great character.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Sully too, but you know what I mean. Yeah, I give it to Drake on that easy. Why? Because AC Unity doesn't have a story to stand behind its mechanics, and Drake's mechanics through all the Uncharted's have always been fun and engaging. And the same way we're saying that 4 elevated the game with the writing, it elevated the game with the gameplay.
Right.
But in 3, throwing hands with the pirates on a boat, come on, bro. It's 2 flames. Like, Drake is that guy.
Yeah.
The bar scene in the beginning, he's that guy.
Yeah.
Drake wins.
Bracket 6, Skate 3 versus Factions from The Last of Us.
Damn it. All right. Yeah. Damn it. That's hard, bro. It's hard. The reason why I would say that Factions could lose is because of, like you said, longevity. Longevity is important. Not that we haven't returned to it multiple times, but at the same time, there is an aspect to it where it was a very niche multiplayer game and a fun experience in its season, but there's a timelessness to what Skate did that people still play Skate to this day, because it's not complicated. It's very simple. You just break the game by having fun skating with your boys. And you know, like, one aspect of Skate that I feel like goes blow for blow with the fun of Factions is death races. Like, riding down a hill as fast as you fucking can against your boys, trying to beat them, is just so fun. It's just such a fun aspect. Just, when you're leaning down, you got your hands behind you, you skate, you hit a pole accidentally, you ragdoll, like, you low back up, try to get fast again. Like, it's so simple, but it's great. It's just always fun to me. Accessible. You're just flicking your trick, your analog stick to make tricks happen. I think the accessibility and the fact that it can be played by so many is what can make it beat the niche nature of Factions and its multiplayer essence. There are multiplayer complexities, like having to build content or having to, like, it's not easy to enter. There is a barrier to enter into getting good and having fun and finding the flow of Factions. Once you do it, is it worth it? Yes. But in this day and age, I think Skate 3 wins. Not just off the nostalgia. They both have nostalgia, but the mechanics. We got to get to the mechanics now. That's why I think it wins. Me personally.
Okay. I'm more tied into factions. And I think bad business decisions have harmed the legacy that factions could have on gaming in its entirety.
Yeah.
Whereas, like you said, Skate is the more casual, friendly, nostalgic framed game.
Yeah.
So I will give you Skate.
Cool.
I will let you slide with it.
Bet. Let me
but
slide.
You can catch these hands on factions any day.
Oh, nah. Yeah, you probably tweak on me.
And the final bracket for round 2, I think. No, wait, we have 2 more. My apologies. The Sims versus Co-op.
Co-op.
Co-op is
Sims has a co-op game. It's co-op.
It's simply co-op.
Co-op is a scary topic. That's not even fair,
right.
Because it's just
It's not.
It's embodying. This is truly madness. Every time we get to the co-op versus something, I'm gonna be like, damn it. It's gonna just knock everything out. We'll see.
Which is why I'm gonna come a little bit crazier with why I think something should lose in the next round as we get a little bit closer, and then we gonna see what you think.
Bet.
Final bracket of round 2, Infamous versus the Nintendo DS. I think bad business decisions from both of these areas have costed them. Infamous being left behind as the fucking first title of the PS4, bro. They really released it and said, all right, peace out. As if Infamous isn't one of the most craziest franchise you could do something with off of this new gen hardware. In an age where superhero games like Batman and Spider-Man have a grip on society, you're telling me you don't think you could do something with your own created superhero? The sky's the limit. But y'all want to go sit in Japan. 2 games in a row.
I mean, you can't sleep, bro. They're the cream of the crop. Shout out to AC Shadows. I already said this to Willie. AC Shadows is going to get sat the F down once Ghost of Yotei comes out. It's not even, oh, is it good? Or we want it to be good so bad we're going to make it good. Ghost of Tsushima and Ghost of Yotei prove that Sucker Punch have the ability to make excellent games, dude. Just excellent games.
Well,
Stories
I feel like
great.
Infamous 1 and 2 did that.
They did, but I'm just saying, like, it proves consistency to me.
Sure.
But were the stories more enticing in the Infamous games? Yeah, to me, I feel like they were more punchy and relatable and grounded in the sense of like just realism, grit, you know. But do I think it's over? Do I think Infamous is gone forever? No, I don't. I still hold out hope for it. So if we're talking Infamous series,
yes,
then okay, I can understand the combat here and how it could come through and it could take over. I understand that. Wait, it's Infamous versus what?
The Nintendo DS.
Yeah, I think Infamous takes it. I think the DS had its time and now we put it to rest. Thank you for competing. We love you.
Right. I think the 3DS started a shake-up that who knows what even happened with Nintendo after that.
I don't even like that 3DS. I don't know why they thought that was cool. But don't even like going to 3D movies.
Right. So we're in round 3, 4 brackets.
Let's go. We're almost there.
Bracket 1, Gears of War versus Dying Light 1.
You got a collection of almost 10 games, if not more, against one game that was a zombie game that made me want to play zombie games when I shouldn't have. And I understand that. I understand that concept. I have to get nitty. This is the thing about these rounds is like we have to dig for reasons for it to win, which is the fun of it. So like what I'll dig into is some of what I didn't like about Dying Light, right? I didn't like how Dying Light's inventory system was built out. I still feel like there's a way to do the weaponry in a way that feels more, I don't know how they could do it, but this is something that I felt like Techland's always wrestled with because they want to have this realism immersion to your weapon dying and breaking. So you have to maintain it and upgrade it and all that, mod it and stuff. And in Dying Light, the weapons are not something that in my mind I have attachment to. They let that kind of be looter shootery in that sense. It's more so the fluidity, the running, the co-op, the story. These are the things that are strengths. But the actual like weaponry in the game wasn't something that was like, okay, I'm gonna die on this. Versus Gears. Gears' stories have always been enticing to me. They have never not been. There's always something I want to look into more. One, gameplay. I don't wrestle with gameplay on Gears. Like, it could just keep a simple combat, a cover system, pop out, shoot, occasionally melee an enemy, and then switch up the execution on each of those. And that's all I really need. And they're the ones that really made that concrete. They're the ones that make that fire, you know. But where Gears wrestles is its consistency and quality. You know, that's a quality issue. So quality across games versus the quality in one game is really the discussion I see it being a contention point on. And I think that Gears wins in this regard.
I think Gears wins as well, especially in the department of doing things that are brave within your story.
It's good. It's a good point. Great point.
Where they're both at right now, I don't know.
We don't know.
But I think Gears of War, in a world where Halo was the big league, Gears was always slept on for zero reason to me.
It's third person versus first person.
Sure. And I think
we should have put
character-wise, Kyle Crane is awesome, but Gears got so many characters
Marcus
that
Dom.
it's like, all right, bro. So I think Gears, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's CUZZO-OP, baby.
Bracket 2. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart versus Handsome Jack. Let me talk.
Please.
I didn't play Rift Apart. I haven't played it.
It's fine.
But Handsome Jack, Borderlands 2, they did what they did. They got rid of him. They got him up out of there. But then they had to swing the block and make a prequel about his rise to power because of how awesome he was. And then Telltale Games, when they took over and when they say, yo, we're going to do something, we're going to be in there, they had to bring him back because he's just that dope.
Yeah, he wins.
And people think they've been lost without him since.
They have, because those little streamer dudes from the third, they trash. The thing about Handsome Jack that's so alluring is that he could be corny, but there's something about him in his delivery of what he's doing that's not. Like, he could be too over the top for some, but there's something about him the more you hear him and the more you hear him in your ear as you do each mission that you're like, nah, this guy is cemented and realistic to this world that we're in. He elevates as an antagonist the entirety of Pandora. And that is what an antagonist should do. It should make the reason you're fighting as a protagonist be a big deal. One thing I love about Handsome Jack as well is we're playing as no-name protagonists with no true backstory that we're attached to outside of like a D&D focus where it's like you understand this is where their backing is and this is why they have these abilities, etc. But we don't build on our stories as we play. We just use these skins or faces as skins to play through the game. So that's why characters in the world are very important. And to have one anchoring character, even if you bring back all the old protagonists that came back in B-Lands 2, Handsome Jack is still the one that we all remember and all are like, this guy's the one. And like you said, 3 games. So I'll give it to him because Rift Apart is a special game. I'm glad it made it this far and I was able to fight for it on its behalf. But you haven't played it. And even if you did play it, it would have been stopped here because Handsome Jack has skipped games and he's got a couple games under his belt. So, yeah, shout out to Handsome Jack.
So, you think he's taking it?
He takes it, yeah.
All right. Nathan Drake versus Skate. You said Skate 3, right?
I think it's the same concept that we just had. I mean, Nathan Drake has a couple of games under his belt. So you take just Uncharted 2's buildings falling, train sequence. You just take the train sequence from Uncharted 2 and you pin it up against a Skate 3. And it's like, yes, Skate 3's fun. It's simple. It's conceptually great. It doesn't contradict it winning any of the other games against all the other games. At the end of the day, there's set pieces that were innovative, and a lot of people look to Naughty Dog for those types of story narrative driven gaming. And Nathan Drake is right there in the driver's seat of all of that. So I'll give it to Nathan Drake.
Okay. I'll give it to Nathan Drake too. Shit, because I'm not gonna lie, I was willing to let you have Skate 3 here, but you said it.
It doesn't deserve it here. It has to stop here.
Okay, sounds good. Co-op versus Infamous.
Co-op games wins this to me. I'ma just explain something. Like, the idea of being able to play. Right now, Steven and Locke and I are playing Split Fiction, and like everybody knows that Haze Light Games, I think is their name, is their developer's name. The people who made A Way Out, people who made It Takes Two, Brothers, the Brothers game back in the day, and then also now this new game. Everyone is saying this is game of the year again because it's returned to this punchiness of like good gaming. But what I love about cooperative gaming is that it gives you an opportunity for you and somebody else to have the same mind sometimes. And I feel like in a world where everyone's extremely divided, the allure of cooperative gaming is higher than it was even back in the past. Like, I think about Lego games, couch co-op games that would bring people together, Overcooked, Moving Out. These are all co-op games. We've talked about co-op games tons of times here at our show. That's why this is called CUZZO-OP. It's too important, and it is still alive, and that's why it's a cheat code. And I don't think Infamous is the one that can rise to the occasion to take it down in this case, unfortunately, for me personally. I know you love it, but go ahead.
I'm just thinking some of these topics were cheat codes.
They were.
Because I already know how this is all going to go and end. So,
I know, because you're looking at them all. Stop looking at them all and just ride with me.
So I'll give it a co-op, bro.
All right, we're at the final two. We're at the final four, actually.
Final four. Gears of War versus Handsome Jack, bro.
What you think? There's not one antagonist in all of Gears of War that can do what Handsome Jack has done as an antagonist. There's tons of protagonists, and there's elements like the faction of the Locust.
Sure.
But
sure. However, I feel Queen Mira, especially post Gears 5, with everything I feel about that game, the diving into her.
Yeah, the whole I forgot about that. That's kind of crazy.
She is an incredible. Okay, maybe I get you a little bit. Looking at antagonist wise, of course, you know what I'm saying? So to me it comes down to like, it's difficult because Jack is a performer. Gears, Marcus Phoenix, especially Marcus from Gears 4, diving into some of his more like older man state and trying to seek out how he feels about certain things. It's a tough conversation. But I want to go Gears because of what it did for building up that idea of brotherhood. Not fighting alone. You know, last year Microsoft did a like suicide prevention collab with Gears, and they released these pieces of apparel that say like never fight alone, and it's like the dog tags or the arms crossed together. And I think Gears of War has always been a symbol about brotherhood and community. You know, it's guns, it's manly men doing what they got to do. But on a deeper level, you really look into it and it's like, oh, these are people that they're human. And it's a story about humans and the human condition, which is why I'm more inclined to go Gears, due to, I think where it all comes down to is that, as well as gameplay. of, Borderlands to me, some people would say, oh, it drags a bit sometimes. Yeah. As fun as it is to have Handsome Jack in the air, it drags sometimes.
Yeah.
And Handsome Jack is goated. And the funny thing is, I think we're at the point now where conversations are happening about all of these.
Exactly. I give it to Gears 2. I just think it doesn't feel right in my head, like Handsome Jack bodied Gears, the Gears of War franchise in a tournament. Like that just doesn't sound right to me. It again, like it sounded right.
Idea, bro.
It sounded right leading. I know. I'm saying, like, looking back, like, okay, does that make sense in a sentence? No, it doesn't. So I'm gonna give it to Gears. But Handsome Jack is a formidable antagonist. That's one thing we got to walk away with on this tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. Bracket 2, Nathan Drake versus Co-op. Once again, it just feels like, does Nathan Drake beat all of Co-op, bro? No. I don't think he does.
No. Co-op is cheating. I don't know why you put this in the bracket. That shit is insane.
You put this in the bracket.
I didn't put co-op games.
Somebody put co-op games.
It was you mother. I put it in. I was me. All right, man. We at the championship.
That's twice today.
We at the championship. I told you I'm having a weird day. It's the championship match, man. The championship match, man.
And so we have two things we credit for creating CUZZO-OP. The cooperative gaming experience we have through Gears of War, as well as just co-op in general.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I think at the end of the day, like, one thing that's really cool about how this ended up is Gears of War is entirely, for most entries, maybe one or two not, but like cooperative. And it's built on a cooperative story. They give you the opportunity to cooperatively play. So we're looking at a game that is underneath the banner of co-op gaming. And I think as much as I would like co-op gaming to win here, because it's CUZZO-OP, and the fact that Gears of War has had to rise against all the others, and we talked about all these topics, like, I just think, like, it's cool to say that Gears of War would win this because it is what's got us started, and it's where we're ending in this tournament. And co-op games are just too OP. It's just too OP of a topic.
Right.
But there are tons of other co-op games that are better than Gears of War, in my opinion, for sure. But
lore-wise,
yeah.
I'm not a gamer without Gears of War. I'm not playing A Way Out or Played Up or Borderlands co-op without Gears of War. Without the split screen off of Ivy's TV, bro.
Or bringing the Xbox over to grandma's house and plugging it into her TV in her room and sitting on the couch and running that river match, or playing against the hardest level of bots and realizing that they're actually easy. They're easier than actual humans are sometimes.
Right.
Like, it's just Gears of War is astonishing, bro. It reminds me of 7th grade. It reminds me of 7th grade, talking with my boys. It reminds me of weird kills. There's just too much, bro. It's just too much. I think Gears wins. And I think that this madness idea is fire.
Right.
We just got to talk about gaming ad nauseum, take it deeper into layers to try to make our points.
Right.
It was cool, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. And so Gears of War was going to happen anyway. That conversation has been brewing for E-Day. However, I think I'm willing to take it a step further, bro, and say that it's not just one conversation that's going to have to happen for Gears.
Nah.
Because of how special it is. I think we're going to have a nice little playlist built up for Gears of War.
I think if CUZZO-OP Plays is going to launch, it's going to be launching while we're playing Gears.
So I think be ready, because Gears of War is in its celebration. It's going to happen building up towards E-Day. Shout out GTA 5 and its release, because I'm trying to copy that mess.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, man, we had great topics. Some that will probably pop up again at some point in time. Like getting into co-op, 102 or 201, however the hell we decide to go about that, it's coming, bro.
Definitely.
We're talking Borderlands. We're going to be talking Borderlands at some point. Uncharted is going to have to happen. You know what I'm saying? Infamous. It's all going to happen. It's all going to happen.
We got lots of great topics. But we still got to touch on them a little bit now. And in light of a year where gaming is not like there's not a huge stack of games like we said in the beginning of this episode. It's nice to be able to look back and process and still say that we love being gamers.
Yeah.
And we're proud to be gamers, man. We're proud to be gamers.
But yeah, so, you know, Assassin's Creed Shadows dropped. We're playing it. I'm 4 hours in. IV is maybe a little bit more, maybe around the same place.
Yeah.
We're feeling it out. We're doing what we have to do to see how do we feel, where are we at. And I think at the end of the day, what's most interesting is that we're there and we're trying it. And so movies are out. We want to talk Mickey 17 soon, right? We want to talk some of these adaptation for video games. Funny enough, I don't know what IV feels about this Minecraft. It's Until Dawn, but April is gonna looking like a month for like
poopy adaptation.
Might be a little sick, but you know what? Last of Us season 2 on HBO is also dropping. So for every one of the good ones, you got the bads. We're gonna be there to talk about it. And TV is also popping off. Invincible season 3, Daredevil, Born Again. There's lots to talk about. But you know what else is coming soon?
What's coming soon?
Debate, bro.
Yeah, we got a debate. This was a good opportunity to get a little spar off. Some places where me and you didn't see eye to eye during this tournament, and I'm excited to have full episodes to really go at it with each other, not to change each other's mind, but just to clearly hear it. We can agree to disagree. And so there's a lot of new things. Like we said, we're kind of keeping it organic this year. We record when we can, when life allows us, and we talk about the stuff we really want to talk about. And we think that that's probably most important, especially for you as our listeners. And so we thank you for tapping in, man. We thank you.
Yeah, we thank you. And, you know, at the end of the day, the question of the episode, what is it going to be? It's, what would you have chosen to win this bracket?
Where did we go wrong? In our
description, bro, you can do the bracket yourself. Let us know what it looks like, how it feels. You might not even give a fuck.
Let's put the question. Let's put the question as, where would you have chosen differently in this bracket? Who should have won? That's the question. We want to hear what you have to say. We hope you like this idea. We'll do it again if we get good reviews and people say that they enjoyed it. We should do it with TV or do it with movies. But we thank you so much for tapping in with us for another episode here at CUZZO-OP. Continue to stay tapped in on YouTube. Continue to stay tapped in on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. If you have gaming friends that would enjoy this conversation and this concept, then send it over to them. We'd love to hear their thoughts and hope that they subscribe and comment as well. Just know every time that you tap in with us here at CUZZO-OP, you're always going to find 3 things: 2 cousins, 1 podcast, and endless entertainment. Peace.